Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning back into Small Town Johnstown. I'm Nick, your host, with my other host.
Yeah, other host, Jenny.
Today, we're talking about landmarks. Landmarks is something Johnstown is really leaning on to try and attract people to come to Johnstown, other than its very low wages to live here. One landmark in particular that you want to start with?
Sure. So Johnstown does have a lot of landmarks. I think that's a positive thing.
It's definitely a positive thing.
Nicholas.
I'd say it wasn't a positive thing.
Starting off pretty negative.
Me and the negativity.
So one of the landmarks that Johnstown does have would be the War Memorial, now known as the First Summit Arena. So there was a contest, and I don't know if you know this or not, Nicholas. I think it was 2015, where like Kraft Mac and Cheese was like voting for Hockeyville, USA, and Johnstown ended up winning. So that's why there's those signs on the building that says Hockeyville, USA.
I think they should redo that contest and see who wins.
I think Johnstown's pretty hype about hockey.
Philadelphia's more hype about hockey.
Well, it's Johnstown. It's not Philly numbers.
Oh
But
yeah, I guess.
they've had how many hockey teams? We'll get into that later.
Have they had a lot of hockey teams?
Yeah, we'll talk about that in our
I just know
slap
about
shot.
the Tomahawks.
Yeah, but they've also been the Chiefs and
Oh
all the other different things. They had different names. I don't remember the name.
We'll get into that in a later episode.
We do have something planned for that because it
The
is
sports
Hockeyville,
episode.
USA. So I thought that
Hockeyville,
was
USA.
interesting.
I'm not a hockey person, but that's good to know.
It was super hype at the time, and that was going on.
Was
so
it? Well,
funny
you
in
were
school.
here at that time.
Yeah,
so-
I was in middle school, high school. Yeah, high school if it was 2015, but I think that's the year it was.
I was already graduated high school.
You're so old. So
And podcast.
the War Memorial is where they have obviously the hockey games, but also different singers come in, different
Concerts.
bands, lots of events. They have Disney on Ice at the War Memorial, so that's definitely kind of the prime location for the bigger names and bigger events going on.
Well, I mean, it's the main stadium here. They can probably pack enough people to hold an event that attracts people to come. I mean, where else would they go? Like maybe out into a park or something? But that's gotta be nice that day. If they're doing like concerts and stuff throughout the winter, fall, even the spring a little bit, it's just gonna be weather impacting. And other than Sargent Stadium, there's no big enough stadium to really hold such events for that many people. And Sargent Stadium's not really that big. And again, it's outside, it's not inside.
Do you want to talk about the stadium then?
Well, no, we don't have to move on from Memorial just yet unless that's all you have.
That's about it. They have concerts and stuff there. That's a place to go.
It
They
is-
have ice skating there, public ice skating.
Yeah, they do have
we've
public
been
ice
to.
skating. It is a nice stadium. I've been there a couple of times. Haven't gone to a Tomahawks game yet. Sorry, Hockeyville, USA.
I've been to Tom Hawks games.
We gotta be the least. We got to go to one this winter.
You were going to say this summer.
Summer hockey. What? Do they play in the winter? I don't even know.
I don't know when hockey season is, but I would assume it's the winter.
It's the winter. Thank you, baby dog. We get into Sargent Stadium. Used to be Point Stadium. Is where the Johnstown. Now, I do not like this name. And when I first saw this name, no offense to the name, I just was like, really? That name? Maybe they're just trying to be funny and kiddish and get some people to come around. But it's the Johnstown Mill Rats. I don't know. Even my business professor in school was like, I wouldn't have named them that. I mean, I don't mind the colors. It's very Pittsburgh colors, yellow and I don't think it's black. I think
It
it's
might be gray.
I think it's brown. It's yellow and brown.
I don't know.
Is the colors.
The Mill Rats are new, though. They were created in 2021, so Johnstown now has their official teams.
Yeah, they did not have baseball. They have baseball, but more like baseball events.
Yeah, like Triple ABA every
Yeah,
summer.
they used to have Triple ABA and stuff like that. I remember my professors talking about that back in the day. Huge events for Johnstown. But now they officially have a team. I want to go see them play in the summer.
In the summer.
They do play in the summer. Late season start. I think they're starting in 4 days. It's baseball season going on for a month or two now. I mean, I guess it's smaller because kids in school, or they have to get people from other areas and find housing for them.
Well, that's the thing. They also have the high school games there as well.
Yeah, they also do have the high school games because it's usually played at Roxbury Park, but rainouts, maybe the park is used or being rented out for somebody else, they do tend to play the games at Sargent Stadium, which we have walked by a couple of times, walking our dogs, seeing them play games. Go Greater Johnstown. But other than that, like I said in the previous episode, Babe Ruth did play there once for the New York Murder Row Yankees.
We already talked about that.
I know.
We
I'm
covered
just
this.
I'm just bringing it back up. Maybe this is the first episode they've seen. You never know.
True.
There is some historical. To go back on the War Memorial, Bob Costa called a couple games there for traveling teams and everything. So I thought that was really cool. Bob Costa is a legendary sports announcer and journalist. To not just stick him to sports, but very good journalist.
You're the sports guy, Nicholas. I'm trusting the words coming out of your mouth.
Moving on, the Heritage Discovery Center. Moving on from sports, of course. The Heritage Discovery Center is a huge center that holds a lot of events, a lot of artistic things. There's an Iron and Steel Gallery. There's the Immigrant Eyes. There's the Johnstown Children's Museum. You can also rent spaces for special events.
It's officially known as the Frank and Sylvia Pasquarella Heritage Discovery Center, which is a mouthful, but I mostly know it as the Children's Museum because I went there a bunch of times when I was younger, and they have like a little like catwalk. You can create little outfits, and they have like a little.
You can create outfits?
Yeah, there was like little, I don't know, fabric pieces, and you just kind of wear them and do like a fashion show thing.
Ooh.
That's what I did when I was younger. And then they have the like flood simulation kind of thing. Yeah, of course they do.
Just a big bucket of water just splashes
They
on
do.
you.
There's like a whole water thing. There's like garden stuff kind of outside. They have a whole gift shop that we got a bunch of stuff from. It's pretty cool.
That sounds pretty cool. I remember there's a child museum in Philadelphia where you can touch everything. It's like a touch museum, and it's for children. My sister and her kids and I went down there a couple years back, so that's really cool. A little bit bigger, but moving on.
Moving on past Philly.
Philly, the greatest city in the world.
So what do you think Johnstown's most famous landmark is? I have one in mind.
I think the most famous landmark is the Spider-Man Memorial, but I'm sure that's not what you agree with. I'm sure the one you're talking about's been down for a while, even though people do talk about it, and it does. People know about it, and people talk about it. And it does exist. I just haven't yet experienced it myself to really say it's the most famous thing in Johnstown. But that could be just me as an outsider perspective.
So in case you haven't guessed it yet, what I think the most famous one would be the Johnstown Incline Plane because it is the steepest in the world.
Mm-hmm. It was built in 1891. In 1936, during another flood, it safely carried 4,000 passengers to safety and transported boats to help them. And this is on the incline.org. And it's located at 711 Edge Hill Drive, Johnstown, PA.
So either downtown or up in Westmont is kind of how you get
up
to
in
it.
Westmont. But what other interesting facts do you have about the incline? You've been there. I've been on top of the hill that the incline lays upon, and you do get a great view of Johnstown and different boroughs in Johnstown. But I never really went on and experienced it myself. There's also a very fancy restaurant in Johnstown called Asiago's, which I hear is extravagant with great Italian food.
It wasn't always Asiago's. It was something else. The last time I was on it, it was something else.
Ooh, I gotta look that up.
But yeah, obviously I've been on it a bunch of times. Being a Johnstown native, did it during school probably a couple of times, and it's a fun time just going up and down. And it was only a couple bucks, and they have an ice cream shop, or did have an ice cream shop up there as well, so you can grab that before you go back down.
So, I mean, could somebody like go down it, go shopping, and then just go up it and go home if they lived up in that area?
Yeah, if you really wanted to, you
Just
could. I mean,
save a
that's
car ride.
yeah, it's a mode of transportation, but more so a landmark. And they do have the playground and the flag and all of that up there.
They do have a nice park up there.
Yeah, also known as the Mound.
Speaking of landmarks that are used for transportations in downtown Johnstown, you have the Stone Bridge, which is a historic railroad bridge over the Conemaugh River.
And everyone knows the Stone Bridge. It's always lit up. It's really pretty. You can see it from the point
Yeah, and there
area,
is
the
that what that's
park they have
called?
there.
The Point, where it's the grass and the mailboxes.
Yeah, technically that area is Point Park. Funny enough. That's what it says on Google Maps.
I will be attending Point Park in the fall. So.
Probably.
If we can figure things out.
That's a goal.
But is that what that's called in Pittsburgh? The round thing with the spears, is that called Point Two? The Point.
I think it's also called that. Yeah.
Interesting. So Pittsburgh's just stealing a lot of stuff from Johnstown.
Or is Johnstown? I feel like Johnstown's just kind of like a mini Pittsburgh.
What was first, Dune or Star Wars? It was Dune.
I wouldn't know.
All right, moving on. Talking about the rivers and the water flows in Johnstown and bridge and stuff. There's coal tubing that goes on in Johnstown. There's river tubing that goes on 11:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. every day. Prices range from $15 to $35 on weekdays and $15 to $40 on weekends, based on tubing colors. I don't know why some tubes cost more than others. Maybe it's just bigger. Maybe it's different.
Is that what it said? Color?
Yeah, it said based off color on the website. So.
Maybe like group rafts.
Yeah, it could be group. Yeah, that's what this could be different levels of each. Like blue is for beginner, single, red is for double, and black's for a family. Probably that.
That's interesting.
But where does that go from? I know it recently moved, but I know I've also been on it. Which I haven't. Sadly, I haven't been to a decent amount of these things as of yet. I'm still residently new to Johnstown, Pennsylvania. But I know it goes along, you said, like the Stone Bridge, correct?
I don't know if it goes that far. When I went on it, we didn't do the whole trip. We started like where the Moxham Bridge is and kind of went to Moxham. So I assume the levels were really low, but I know that when the levels are higher, they start in Greenhouse. I'm just not really sure where you get off because they relocated to downtown, right?
Yeah, they have relocated downtown.
So I don't know where you would carry your tube from, but somewhere downtown.
I saw on the website. I just forgot to write it down in the notes. But they do tell you where. We also have whitewater tubing in Stony Creek Canyon from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on weekdays, $50, and on weekends, $60, with a weight limit of 300 pounds. Sorry if I fits people, but I don't know if you're able to go on these tubings. Which is really. Have you done the whitewater one at Stony Creek?
Definitely not.
I think I've seen people do that because that's where's the natural water slide? Is it
Ohio Pile.
Ohio Pile. I was like saying it's a funny name, but is that what that white watering? I've seen people do that.
That's where I went.
Yeah, me and my sister saw people do that. It looked really cool. And I do want to try that out. I've never been to.
I don't know that I would do it again.
Why?
I went flying out of it.
Yeah, that's the fun. Woo! I believe I can fly.
But you're supposed to be like floating or swimming, not flying.
What's the fun if you're just floating? That's yawn.
Says someone who's never broken a bone.
We don't need to get into that. But that's something That's something I'll try by myself then.
Okay.
I'm have fun. There's also bike riding and inflatable kayaking. So if you like river stuff, there's also fishing. If you like river stuff, coal tubing. What's it called? Is that what it's
coal,
called?
like the coal. Johnstown Coal. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I don't know. But
coal mines.
Yeah, coal mines. Coal tubing seems like something to do. It's definitely an interesting thing to do here in Johnstown and a landmark. Now we get into the most coolest thing about Johnstown, the Spider-Man Memorial, the only authorized by Marvel memorial in the world or USA?
Yeah, so on PA Bucket List, it said that the mural itself is reportedly the only Marvel-approved piece of public art in the world.
That is crazy. It is not painted on the building. It is painted on...
like fabric that they kind of like adhered to the building. Yeah. It's not painted right on the building. I
think it's is it like... It's not fabric. It's that stuff that they use for cast. Like to mold stuff.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, because I saw there was some bends in it and some rips. I was like, that doesn't look like fabric.
Whatever kind of material it is.
It's to help it stick and last longer and not wear off in the building. Because whoever did paint it, I'm sure is not trying to come back or is trying to come back to Johnstown and patch it up, because Johnstown's such a great city. Now, there's other small little stuff like that. We do have the dog, the famous dog, that didn't exist.
Yeah, the non-existent Morley's dog is present downtown in front of the bridal shop that they have, and then they also have a different variation in the library as well.
Now, there is some memorials of Johnstown's history on the building that's slightly across the park, but a little bit past it. They have the dog, they have the flood, they have the incline.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that's called, but it's kind of like the welcome mural that they have on Main Street. Yeah.
Yes, the library has a beautiful murals about books and history of Johnstown. Not just books of Johnstown, all kinds of books. They had the Catcher in the Rye and stuff like that on there. So
Yeah, I really liked the mural that they did on the library. I thought that was really
I like the mural that they did on the library. Other than that, there's not many other murals I've seen. There's one a little bit past the Spider-Man one that shows the two hands and the kids playing on the basketball court for diversity.
This, I was going to say the one on Main Street on the pavement that says "End Racism Now." That's kind of like a mural. It's kind of a landmark,
it's
too.
definitely a landmark and a mural. Now, do you want to get into...
I still have other murals that I wanted to talk
Oh, my bad. I'm jumping the gun here. What other murals would you like to talk about?
So there's the one that inspired our cover photo, which says, I love Johnstown, or love Johnstown on
And
the
we do
river.
love Johnstown. I know some previous episodes might sound like we don't, but we do love Johnstown.
And then when you enter Cambria City, there's those ones
Oh, yeah.
against the road, next to the river. A bunch of different ones there. There's another, like, Spider-Man Steve Ditko one that's there, and numerous others. You drive past it, so I haven't been able to actually, like, look at what all of the art is. But I
I'm
definitely
sorry.
noticed it. There's a bunch under the 56 highway, like, underneath, next to McDonald's and all of that, across from where the high school used to be before they tore it down. And then there's that one in Dale that we saw that was like a whole kind of exhibit outside. There's a lot. I don't know the names of all of them, but I feel like Johnstown has a lot of art. There's the spiral, there's the metal one down by the beauty school that they have.
Don't forget about the metal arts around the incline.
Yeah, there's all the ones up past the incline, on the trail, up to the incline. There's a lot of art pieces around Johnstown, I think, in comparison to most towns.
Smaller
cities,
towns. Definitely not the bigger towns, but mostly the small towns and stuff. It's just really interesting. It shows that Johnstown's not, or Western PA, maybe parts of Western PA, is not just this bleak steel town. There's definitely some artistic creativity around this area, and that people are all artsy people are everywhere, not just the main cities or California.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of art in Johnstown. Let us know what your favorite piece of art is, or if I missed it. Like I said, I don't really know any of the artists' names. It's just something I've noticed more and more murals pop up over time since living here for so long.
There's also an art gallery downtown in the city that you can go and check out local artists around the area. I remember we went in there the other day and saw that artist from Pittsburgh. Her name is slipping my mind at the moment.
I don't remember the artist's name, but she did give us a pamphlet, and they always have new artists in there.
I think it's like a monthly change or a couple weeks.
Something like that, yeah. So that's definitely cool if you haven't checked that out yet.
Moving on.
Past the arts, we're going to go outside of Johnstown now a little bit, just kind of the bigger, different landmarks that there are outside in surrounding areas.
Correct. You start off. You have a lot more than I do.
So we're mostly talking about downtown Johnstown and Cambria City areas. So the Grandview Cemetery is in Johnstown, just up more in Westmont, Southmont area. And that's one of Pennsylvania's largest cemeteries with over 65,000. And it's home to over 47 burial sections and more than 235 acres of land. And it holds 777 victims of the 1889 flood. And those were not able to be identified. And this is from Wikipedia.
So I like Wikipedia. I trust Wikipedia.
I've been up there before. I've seen the unmarked graves, so I do know that they're there. I just have not counted them.
Yeah. What's the other one you want to cover?
In addition to the Flood Museum, there's the Flood National Memorial up in South Fork, where the flood started, where the dam was, and the National Park Service site, and this preserves the remains of what's left of the dam and portions of the Lake Conemaugh bed.
That's at Hickston, right?
No,
No.
Hingston's in like Park Hill.
Oh, okay. Because
South Fork's like
I saw something about
ways,
the
ways.
dam there.
Yeah, that's also a dam, but as you can tell, that one did not break.
Yeah, that one's still working. That's where the plat is about the
It's a plaque.
plaque.
Plat.
Plaque is about the
1920s
yeah,
expulsion.
Expulsion. I see that there's also the Silver. Oh yeah, the Silver Bell, not Silver Bell. The Silver Drive-In.
Silver Drive-In, the
Silver
drive-in
Drive-In.
movies, which opened in 1962. I know numerous times they were talking about shutting it down. So there was a public outcry to close and demolish it.
Why?
I don't know. I wasn't there. It said it made a comeback in 2005. I was like 6. And that's located in Richland. So again, Johnstown, but not downtown Johnstown. And
yeah.
it's the only drive-in in the Johnstown region. If you want to go to another one, you have to drive 30-40 minutes. So
That's the only drive-in I know about. I don't know
There's-
about other drive-ins.
there's others.
I was afraid. I'm like, whoa.
I've only been to that one though. So
Man, this town's old.
remember when we went to the Eras tour?
I do remember we
Silver
went to the air
Drive-In?
store and it was raining.
It was so fun though.
It was a blast.
It was immersive.
And then I got
for
told
a
to turn my
kid.
lights off multiple times. I didn't know how. I was like, I don't know. They're just on. This car's new. Leave me alone. There is no off shift for the car. And I didn't want to leave my car because we were low on gas. Like, we wouldn't have had enough gas to get back home.
Yeah, how do you work the drive-ins with the gas and having your car on and keeping the battery alive situation? Because that was stressing us out.
C2 emission must be deadly over there.
How did they do drive-ins? How does that work?
Well, usually people can just turn off the car, open their trunk because you have a van or some big Hummer or a Jeep. And
Well, that's
or
why you need a truck or a Jeep
Yeah.
so you can enjoy the drive-ins.
Yeah. Well, hopefully not when it's raining. If you have a truck, you can't really watch it.
It was fun dancing to Taylor Swift in the rain.
well, it's
I'm
fun.
not
Done.
gonna lie.
It was fun dancing to Taylor Swift in the rain.
You know what was not fun though?
The Staple Bend? No, the Staple Bend.
The Staple Bend was fun on the other side where they have the Path of the Flood trail that starts in like Franklin area.
Mm-hmm.
We went there with our dogs.
Beautiful trail, though. Don't get us wrong. Wonderful trail. Beautiful trail.
Beautiful trail
Enjoyed the scenery
for humans.
for humans.
If your dog is tiny and crawls into tick nests and is covered in over 20 ticks and has to be shaved shortly afterwards, would not advise you take your dogs on that trail.
Make sure your dogs have tick and flea medication.
Yeah, lots of prep for that because there were so many ticks, but it was a beautiful trail.
We were not prepared.
We were not prepared, but we walked for like 3 miles.
We did, well, not 3 miles, like a mile and a half for that. One.
It was 1.5 and then 1.5 back.
Oh, okay. But how much is a 5K?
3 miles?
Okay, I thought you counted the first one we went to.
No, that was only half.
Only half a mile.
Yeah, I'll show you later.
There's a park a little bit outside of Johnstown too. Not a park, a hiking trip, more like a mountain climbing trip that we went
Somewhere
to.
between hiking and mountain climbing, there's the Gallitzin
Yeah.
out towards Indiana area. If you want to climb a mountain, do that. Again, don't take your dogs. The path is
Or take your
thin.
dogs if you're confident enough that they're okay. Like if you took them hiking.
I would say it's just so thin that like if someone was coming the other way, there wouldn't be room for you to really move over. Like someone's toppling down that hill, I think.
Somebody is stopping them. If you feel comfortable with your dog and you in tight spots and you trust them, it's a nice little hike for your dog and you. It's going up a hill, so you'll definitely get your workout in.
Yes.
Yes.
We got to work out that day for
It
sure.
was 30 minutes, but I was sweating. I was sweating.
So if we're moving even farther outside Johnstown, outside Mineral Point, Franklin, Indiana, what else is there?
The Flight 93 Memorial.
Tell me about that.
So the Flight 93, as everybody knows, is one of the flights from 9/11 that did not make it to the White House. I think that's what their destination was. And 40 passengers fought the hijackers, sadly landed the plane in
Joystown,
Pennsylvania. You know the story. So they have a memorial there that is a park that is free, and you can take your pets and go around and see all the Flight 93 memorial. I think there was a timeline. There's a plaque of the crew and passengers. You could see the seating chart, and you can hear the phone calls people made while on the plane. There's many things you could do. I think there is little like stuff from the plane, like soda cans and stuff lying around. I haven't been there yet myself in particular, but it is something I am curious to check out and see. I recently learned that it's a park. I thought it was some in New York, like it's like a big wall with names and stuff, but apparently it's a park that you can go walk around and check out. That I definitely do want to go and take a trip to. It's 30 minutes outside of Johnstown. There's benches to sit. There's a bunch of flags and monuments to the passengers. Thank you. Learning about their story, and it's just a very I don't want to say nice. I don't know. Sentimental place to visit. Take your dog and collaborate. Now, this is something that I would like to go and check out. Maybe, hopefully, not get ticks. And there's a lot of places that we talked about today that I've yet to experience, that you've definitely experienced being from here, that I want to experience and find out. I mean, we did the bridge, we did the drive-in, we did the other stuff.
You've done about half the stuff.
Yeah, I've done about half the things. There's still half the things that I want to do. What are some things that you still want to do that are in Johnstown that you want to check out that pique your interest?
I don't know. I definitely want to go to a music festival at the Natural Gas Park. I think that would be fun.
Oh, well, we did miss out on that one. We walked past that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We heard from the outside, but I definitely want to go and attend when they do like the Johnstown Flood City Music Fest or whatever.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
My number one again is the Flight Museum, the Flight 93.
Yeah. I've been there, but I was very young when I went, and I remember the park obviously, but it was like names and different kind of mementos, I think was one of the words you were trying to get at. It's definitely very depressing, but it's very nice that they still have everything kind of set up in memoriam of these people.
So let us know about some monuments, landmarks, memorials that are in your town. If you're from Johnstown and you feel like we missed a couple of things or a lot of things, let us know. This is just some research and places we've been online or places we've been in person that we are talking about from experiences. If you want to check out some of the things we talked about, comment, let us know, like, follow, subscribe.
Thank you for listening, and tune in next week for our next episode. I hope you enjoyed this, and
thank you for listening
to at least some of the landmarks that are in and around Johnstown,
Pennsylvania.